Have you ever observed or been asked to participate in some kind of illegal conduct at work and then refused to engage in the illegal conduct or report it somehow and then get fired? Well, if that's happened to you, you probably have a whistleblower case. And if you have one of those cases, you need to know how to prove it. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now today, I'm not going to give you a lecture on New York whistleblower law. You don't need that. Instead, I'm going to show you how to prove a case using the 4-step framework that we use at our employment law firm. And we call this the 4 pillars of a whistleblower case. But first, please realize this is not legal advice for you. This is just a YouTube video. But in this video, you will know how to determine whether or not you have a whistleblower case. And if you think you do have such a case after watching the video, you should go get a good employment law firm. And if you want to contact us, just click the link in the description below. Let's get to it. Now first, New York passed a new whistleblower law in 2022, and it's stronger than ever, way better than the old one. And this is how we prove cases under this new law. Pillar number 1 is a period of satisfactory work performance. Now, what does this mean? This means a good amount of time has gone by at work where there haven't been any problems with you or your performance. The longer, the better. At a minimum, we look for 6 months, or even a year, or several years. The longer, the better. Pillar number 2 is the existence of illegal or potentially dangerous conduct occurring at the workplace by your employer. This means that your employer is violating some kind of law, a rule or regulation of any kind, or it's doing something that's putting the public health or safety at risk. So this could mean so many things. This could mean that your employer is discriminating against people at work, or sexually harassing people, even yourself, at work. Or maybe it's violating the wage and hour laws. Maybe it's breaking the tax laws or environmental laws. Maybe it's committing fraud and deceiving customers. If you see this going on, that's what I'm talking about. Or, for example, your company could be doing something that's dangerous, like polluting the public water supply or exposing the public to hazardous materials. Again, the list could go on. Pillar number 3, you refuse to engage in this illegal conduct yourself, or you report it either to your supervisor or a supervisor, anyone with management abilities or powers at work, or you report it to a public agency, like an investigative agency. So what does this really mean? To give you an example, if your company asks you to do something illegal at work and you refuse to do it, that would be enough. Or maybe they ask you to do something illegal, or you'll just observe something illegal and you report it to your supervisor or a manager. Or perhaps you see something dangerous or illegal going on at work, and for some reason you report it or become involved in an investigation that's being conducted by a public agency, like a federal agency or maybe a state or city agency. And you get involved in it, you provide testimony, and you provide support for the investigation into your company. If any of those things happen, you would be satisfying pillar number 3. And finally, pillar number 4 is if you get fired or somehow get subject to adverse action at work, like getting demoted, within 90 days of you reporting or refusing to engage in the illegal conduct. So pillar number 4 has to do with something lawyers call temporal proximity. This means that there's a closeness in time between your reporting, objecting to, or refusing to engage in the illegal conduct, and then the company firing you. The closer the time between those two things, the better. For example, we have a case where our client refused to engage in activity that she thought was illegal, and then she reported it, and the company fired her a week later. That would satisfy pillar number 4 because our client reported illegal behavior and she was fired a week later. That's within 90 days. Now, 90 days is kind of a period of time that the courts have determined is close enough between the two things that it indicates that the company was motivated to take action, like firing you, because you refused to engage in the conduct yourself or you reported them. It's whistleblowing. Whistleblowing is really just another form of retaliation. So when the company finds out that you won't do it yourself, or you report, you tattletale on them, and then they take action against you, like firing you. So those are the 4 pillars. Now, if you have all of those 4 pillars, the whistleblower law in New York is really powerful. What does it get you? It will get you a whole host of remedies. Number 1, you can get money damages. If you're fired and you lose pay, you can get that. You can get your attorney's fees and any other costs you incur. But there's even more. You can get an injunction, like a court could order your company to stop doing the illegal thing it was doing. It could also be forced or ordered to hire you back in the same position that you held before. These are very, very powerful weapons that you have as a victim of whistleblowing in New York. We'll list everything on the side of this video so you know for sure. Let me give you a quick example of a well-known whistleblower case. There was a woman once named Vera English, and she worked for a subsidiary of General Electric that had a nuclear facility going on. And she noticed that there was a potential spillage or leakage of nuclear waste products. And she tried to report it to the company, but they didn't listen. And then she reported it to the federal agency that investigates nuclear companies. And after the company found out that she did this, they fired her. So that's classic whistleblowing. She observed the company doing something that was illegal because it was violating the rules and the laws that regulate the operation of a nuclear facility. And it also put the public at risk because leakage of nuclear materials also poses a potential risk to the public. She tried to tell her company about it, and then she reported it to a federal agency. And then quickly, after the company found out about it, within 90 days, they fired her. So there, Miss English satisfied all 4 pillars of a New York whistleblower case. So that's a quick and easy example of a whistleblower case. Now at this point, you should be able to recognize whether or not you have a whistleblower case. And if you think you do, it's important that you take steps to protect yourself quickly. I highly recommend that you contact a good employment law firm as soon as you can to get help. And it's also a good idea to take notes. Write down what happened to you, to create a chronology of events about who did what when, and put it in writing in your computer, your personal computer. Never use a work computer for any of this stuff. Either write it down on paper or use your own personal computer to create these records. I'm Robert. I hope this video helps you realize whether or not you have a whistleblower case. Thanks for watching.